Hey, you guys, Sean here. So I just got done watching Deadpool and Wolverine for like the second time, since it just came out on digital a few days ago. So I wanted to watch it again, and I thought, well, I haven't reviewed this one yet, and I've reviewed, well, I would say almost every X-Men movie, but I haven't reviewed Dark Phoenix or New Mutants. I'll get to those ones soon enough. But I have reviewed the other X-Men movies. I might do re-reviews for those ones. I don't know yet. But I did review the first two Deadpool movies. I know that much. So I want to tackle Deadpool and Wolverine. So, let's see. Deadpool and Wolverine is a 2024 American superhero film based on Marvel Comics featuring the characters, some of my teeth, Deadpool and Wolverine, produced by Marvel Studios, Maximum Effort, and 21 Labs Entertainment, distributed by Walt Disney Studio Motion Pictures. It is the 34th film in the MCU and the sequel to Deadpool 1 and 2, released in 2016 and 2018, respectively. This film was directed by Sean Levy from a screenplay he wrote with Ryan Reynolds, Reet Reese, Paul Warnick, and Zeb Wells. I'm probably butchering a lot of names when I say these, although I butcher names a lot in my videos, so not surprising. Reynolds and Hugh Jackman were respectively stars Wade Wilson, Deadpool, and Logan Wolverine, alongside Emma Corrin, Morena Baccarin, Rob Delaney, Leslie Uggams, Aaron Stanford, and Matthew McFadden. I hope I pronounced that right. In the film, the Deadpool learns that the Time Variance Agency is set to destroy his home universe and worse, with a reluctant Wolverine from another universe to stop them. So this film was released in the U.S. July 26, 2024, with a runtime of 2 hours and 8 minutes, which makes it the longest Deadpool movie, not counting the super duper cut of Deadpool 2, which ran 2 hours and 14 minutes. This was $200 million. This cost $200 million and made back $1.329 billion. Which, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it made the most of the three Deadpool movies. So, basically, and it says here that it became the highest grossing rated R film of all time, and second highest of 2020, and the second highest grossing of 2024. So, and it was surpassed by Inside Out 2 at the box office. I mean, so I will say this: just like the other two Deadpool movies, this was a ton of fun to watch. I'll say this: I like they brought a lot of Fox actors back, but that's, for me, that's a good and bad thing because, so, okay, I want to get a few negatives out of the way first. I said they bring back some of the Fox actors, which is a good thing because, they have Elektra in this movie, played again by Jennifer Gardner, who hasn't played the role in almost 20 years since the god-awful Elektra movie, and I've seen that, so I can actually say that. They don't bring Affleck back. They do say his Matt is dead, and they kind of do make a joke about Affleck and Gardner's real life divorce when they tell him that Matt has died, and Wade's like, looks at Elektra and says, "I'm so sorry," and Elektra's like, don't care. So yeah, they do make a jab at their real life divorce, and I'm like, okay, I get what you're going for. Like, I get the joke, but it was okay. The joke was okay. I didn't mind the joke, honestly. But what I'm saying about how, so they have Gardner return as Elektra. They have, shit, I'm blanking on her name. Daphne Keane, that's what it was. How can I forget her name? They have her return as Laura, and they actually do prove it's the same Laura because she has the sunglasses that she got in Logan, so I thought that was a nice touch. They have Aaron Stanford return as Pyro. Tyler Mane comes back as Sabretooth, which, yeah, I love how in the trailer, Wade says that the fight between Logan and Sabretooth has been waited on for decades, and it's like over in 2 seconds. It's like, wow. All that build up to nothing. They do have Chris Evans back as Human Torch, but that was kind of a clever misdirection by making us think he's going to be Captain America again, and then instead of saying Avengers Assemble, he says Flame On. I thought that was a clever misdirection. I thought that was funny. And yeah, he's taken out like that, and Wade says, wow, they basically says they killed off Johnny because he ruined the budget or something like that. It's like, oh, that's not cool. Which, speaking of the budget, they have a lot of characters return. Like, they have the Russian return from the Punisher movie. They have, Azazel, Lady Deathstrike, and Toad, and I think Psylocke appears too, and Juggernaut from the various X-Men movies. But yet they don't have Jason Fleming. So let me say, they have the Russian back from the Punisher movie, Azazel, Psylocke, Toad. But yeah, they don't have the returning actors back. Like, they don't have Kevin Nash for the Russian. They don't have Jason Fleming for Azazel. They don't have Olivia Munn for Psylocke. They don't have Kelly Hu for Lady Deathstrike. And it's like, and they don't even have Ray Park as Toad. So it's like, why are we using these characters if you're not bringing these actors back? And like I said, they even have Juggernaut in the movie, but it's not Vinnie Jones. You even have Wade saying, oh, so you're this year's version of Juggernaut. It's like, why have these characters if you're not going to bring the actors back? Is it because they didn't have the budget to bring them back? It's like, I don't know. That's why I say that I like the fact they brought back some of the returning actors, but if you're going to have some characters in here, why not bring those actors back too? And it's like, maybe it was a budget thing. That's my only guess. It was probably a budget thing. They couldn't get them all. I mean, I read they did speak to Vinnie Jones, but he didn't want to do it if they couldn't get the costume to fit. So it makes sense. And I think even Kevin Durant was asked to come back as a Blob, but he was busy filming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, so he couldn't get him. And I think Kevin Nash said he was never approached, which makes me wonder why. And I get Colin Farrell was probably filming the Penguin show, so he couldn't do the movie either, because they have Bullseye in here, and he's dressed like Colin Farrell's Bullseye, but it's not Colin Farrell. So it's like I get Farrell was probably, like I said, Farrell was probably busy with the Penguin show and couldn't do the movie. So I get that, and I get Duran was busy with Planet of the Apes. So it's like, why have these characters if you're not going to have them? Oh, and yeah, they have Wesley Snipes in this movie as Blade, and I love the fourth wall joke they make, because so they give Blade Punisher's gun, and Wade's like, there's been like 5 of them, and it's like, there's actually been 4 Punishers. Dolph Lundgren, Thomas Jane, Ray Stevenson, and John Bernthal. Where are they getting the 5th Punisher from? It's like, okay. But I love how Snipes says, there's only ever been one Blade. There's only ever been one Blade. There's only ever gonna be one Blade. And then you just see Deadpool break the fourth wall, like, shows how much he knows. Because they've been trying to get, I hope I'm pronouncing this guy's name right, Mahershala Ali to play Blade for God knows how many years. Speaking of trying to play for God knows how many years, they actually have Channing Tatum in this movie as Gambit, which another thing that's been trying to happen for God knows how many years, because I've read Tatum was supposed to play Gambit back in, I believe, X-Men Origins Wolverine, but because he had a commitment to G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, he couldn't do it, and they got Taylor Kitsch to do it. Which I would have loved if they made a joke about that, where Wade sees Gambit and says, and it's like, you used to look like John Carter, but now you look like a G.I. Joe. Like, that would have been funny. But they don't make the joke. I wish they would have, but they didn't. But so basically, and also I know I'm dwelling on the nitpicks. Another nitpick I wish that I have is that if Evans was going to play Johnny again, I wish they gave him his costume from the '05 movies, from the '05 Fantastic Four movies. Like, I wish they gave him his costume from those movies again, but I get probably why they didn't. I don't know why they didn't, but they wanted to update the costume, I guess, because he's been in the void for so long. Who knows? But I will say this. So the idea behind this movie was, so way back when Jackman announced Logan was his last time playing the role. 3 days after he made the announcement, he saw the first Deadpool movie. He's like, oh, shit. So sometime around 2022, I think it was, he calls up Reynolds, or he texts him and says, hey, I don't know how far you are in the development of Deadpool 3, but I want to see what we can do to make this happen, to have a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And that's what happened. And that's basically how it happened. Jackman said it himself. So basically the plot of this movie, after 11 minutes into this video, is that because Logan died in Logan, which is weird because Deadpool 2 acknowledges Logan's death, yet they never mention this part, that because Logan died, Wade's universe is starting to deteriorate, and so Wade, trying to save his universe, goes around the multiverse trying to find a new Logan to fix it. Because Logan was considered the anchor being, which is essentially the being that stabilizes the universe. You take away the anchor being, that universe dies. Which makes me wonder who the MCU's anchor being is. Because if it was Tony, then the MCU universe would be deteriorating too. I've heard rumors that the anchor being is supposed to be Spider-Man, but it's like, I don't know. But here's why I'm confused about the Deadpool 2 thing. And I know Deadpool 1 and 2 were done before the Fox buyout, but if this was supposed to be a big deal, that the death of the anchor being deteriorates the universe, why wasn't this a plot point in the last Deadpool movie, considering that movie actually does acknowledge Logan's death? Because in the beginning of Deadpool 2, Wade says, fuck Wolverine. First, he rides my coattails with the R rating. Then the hairy motherfucker ups the ante by dying. What a dick. Well, guess what, Wolvie? I'm dying in this one, too. So, yeah, they do acknowledge Logan died in that movie, but yet it's only this movie that they finally say, oh, yeah, the thing with Logan, only now does it cause the universe to deteriorate. It's like, okay. I mean, I get it. Deadpool 1 and 2 were made before the Disney buyout, so that's probably why. But just strictly looking at, take the buyout away, strictly looking at it as the plot, it doesn't make sense to only acknowledge it now. But anyway, so in order to save his universe and his loved ones, Wade is going around the multiverse trying to find a new Logan, and they go through, Age of Apocalypse. They do Patch, which I guess is one of Logan's alter egos or something. So yeah, they have Age of Apocalypse, Patch, Old Man Logan. There was a version of Logan that's crucified, which I read is based off a comic book cover. Okay, and there is one, and this is what I loved, where Wade walks up to a Wolverine who is working on a motorcycle. He turns around, and it's Henry Cavill. That I thought was awesome. Because Wade even says to him, this just feels right. We will treat you so much better than those shit fucks down the street. Basically referencing how much of a bad treatment Henry got by DC and Warner Bros. Which I loved that. Especially that we will treat you so much better than those shit fucks down the street line. That I loved. And yeah, I know I'm going kind of in the positives now, but I love the fact they got Henry to do this. Because I've read that similar to Krasinski as Human, not the Human Torch, as Mr. Fantastic, which they actually did in Multiverse of Madness. Kind of wishing they kept Krasinski, but okay. Henry was a fan casting Wolverine as well. Though what I'm wondering is, given there are like rumors and stuff about possibly Daniel Radcliffe and Taron Egerton, who's from the Kingsman movies, were both going to supposedly play Wolverine variants, why didn't they have them in here too? I guess maybe money reasons why Hugh Jackman played the other variants. I don't know. Probably budgetary reasons. I really don't know. But also another negative I just thought of. I really hate, and this is a fucking cliche with sequels, I hate where in the previous movie the couple gets together only for the sequel to break them up, just to get them back together again. I mean, they did it with National Treasure Book of Secrets. They did it with the sequel trilogy with Han and Leia. Because the original trilogy had Han and Leia get together, but then Force Awakens are like, oh, nope, they're broken up. Their happy ending? Nope, gone. And then to go to another Harrison Ford franchise, Indiana Jones did it with Dial of Destiny, because at the end of Crystal Skull, Indy and Marion finally get married, and Indy realizes finds out he has a son, but then we get to Dial of Destiny, and oh, Mutt's dead, and Indy and Marion are broken up. Fuck you. And yeah, now in this movie, so I've heard in the commentary for the theatrical cut of Deadpool 2 that the scene where Wade goes back in time to undo Vanessa's death was because fans were upset that they killed her. Hell, even the credits showed that. Like saying they killed off everyone's favorite character. You assholes or something like that. I don't remember what the credits said. But yeah, the fact that they actually went back and did reshoots to bring Vanessa back kind of seems pointless in the long game now, given you split them up in the beginning of this movie. Kind of makes those reshoots pointless. Anyway. I just want to bring that up because it seems to be a walking cliche at this point. Let's take the couple from the last movie and split them up in the sequel. Just to get them back together. I don't like it. I really don't. And I would acknowledge Fantastic Beasts, but to be honest, Newt and Tina didn't really become a couple in the first one. Didn't really become a couple in Where to Find Them. They only planted the seeds for that one. So I can't really discuss that. But I really hate that cliche at this point. So they have the Deadpool Corps, which are like 100 Deadpool variants. It's like, okay. And so yeah, I would have been okay with Logan being Jackman's swan song, because by that point he had played the role 17 years and appeared in like most of the movies. So I'd have been totally cool if that was his swan song. But the fact that he came back for this was awesome, because I love what they did with Logan in this movie. Like, I'm glad they don't undo Logan, because Reynolds and Jackman said, look, we're not undoing Logan. Logan stays dead, as you saw in the movie. So I'm glad they don't undo it. Although the movie does open with Wade digging up Logan's corpse. So they kind of undo it, but they don't undo it. Which, I'll admit, kind of funny. But I love what they did, was they have Wade, like I said, they have Wade going around the multiverse to find a new Wolverine, because his Wolverine died, and because of that, his universe is starting to crumble. So he's going through the various multiverses to find a Logan, and then basically finds, as Paradox says, the worst Wolverine. And we find out what happened. Because in the trailer, he goes, you want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback? Which they don't really give us one, or that, and that line's not even in the movie. But what we find out is, Logan tells Laura what happened, that he didn't really want to be part of the X-Men because Cyclops, Jean, Storm, and Beast were kind of begging him to put the suit on, but he didn't want to show that he wanted to be part of it. So one night he went out to get drunk and came home hammered to find the mansion ransacked, and all his friends were dead. So Logan kind of went kill crazy and made the X-Men look bad to the public. And so that's what happened. That's why this Logan is the way he is. So I like that this was kind of a redemption story for this Logan. That was a cool idea. There's one little nitpicky thing, and I'm going into spoilers with this. So there's a scene towards the end of the movie, which you know the shot in the trailer where you see Logan in front of what looks like gravestones. That's in kind of his head because Cassandra Nova, much like Charles Xavier, has the ability to reach people's minds. So she's able to look inside Logan's head, and strangely we see flashes of footage from prior X-Men movies, even though this Logan wouldn't have those memories. Okay, I'm able to buy what, for example, I'm going to use, so to use an example of this, I'm able to buy what Venom Let There Be Carnage said about how it was possible for Tom Hardy to be in the MCU because it says that every Venom among the multiverse is connected through a hive mind. So what one Venom knows, the other ones will know too. Though that doesn't answer the question of how Hardy ended up in the MCU and not Topher Grace, because Topher Grace was the one who knew that Maguire was Spider-Man. Not the point. Not the point. But the point I'm trying to make is I can understand that Venom explanation, but I don't understand how this Logan from a different universe somehow has the memories of our Logan. I don't get that. I don't at all. Like, I really don't get that at all. But not the point. Probably not the point. I will say this, because I'm over 20 minutes on this video. The few minor nitpicks aside, I love this movie, and this is probably the only franchise, or to use a tree analogy, the only branch of the X-Men franchise to actually have a consistently good trilogy, because you look at the original X-Men trilogy, Last Stand has a overall mixed reception. You look at the Wolverine trilogy, the only film that's not really liked by many is X-Men Origins Wolverine. Though Wolverine has kind of a mixed reception, and Logan is the only one that's generally considered a good movie by most. You look at the First Class films, like you look at the first three movies, you take out Dark Phoenix, for example, because that's the fourth movie. But if you look at First Class, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse is generally given a mixed review. It has a mixed reception by people. So the fact that the Deadpool movies are the only ones of the overall X-Men films to actually have a consistently well-liked trilogy, that's saying something. Especially when you take Jean's line in Apocalypse where she says, the third film's always the worst. Which, to be fair, that was Singer ragging on Last Stand. Let's be honest, that was true. Singer ragging on Last Stand. But she's not entirely wrong, though. Because whenever you do a trilogy, the third film usually is sometimes the weakest. I can only think of like a handful of examples if that's wrong. Return of the King, Logan, like, just a handful of examples I can think of that debunk that statement. Hell, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I could probably keep going. Which, speaking of Star Wars, I actually thought about doing like an autopsy, not only an autopsy, but like a funeral type thing, if you will, for the sequel trilogy. Just my overall thoughts on it. I've thought about doing that. I might do that. That actually sounds good. Huh. But anyway, I'm going into 24 minutes here. I'll say this. I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. It was a ton of fun, and I'm glad I've seen it. So yeah, I could talk more about this movie, but I don't want to, because I'm already like 24 minutes in. I will see if I can get the band back together and the nerd back and see if we want to do like a Deadpool and Wolverine discussion. That would be fun. Alright, so I'm out. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'm out.